Okay, everyone's getting a bit nervous. Today is Friday, week 3, 2014. We are now 1 year, 3 months, and 2 weeks away from our final exam. Here we have Helen, and we have Sherry and Martin. They're gonna answer the first part of the question for 10 marks. Distinguish between a collusive and non-collusive oligopoly. Varsågoda.
Alright, so a collusive oligopoly is when the firms in the market collaborate with each other, and by doing that they can control the market price. And most cases this is illegal, and there are 2 types of collusive oligopolies. It's formal and tacit collusive oligopolies.
And the non-collusion is the opposite of collusive. Is when the firms, they don't cooperate with the other firms. They they do not collude with each other. Instead they're really aware of other firms when they're making price decision. So when they make a price decision, they will change to other price.
Okay, so the differences are then that in collusive, you have say 2, but this 3. Anyway, 3 types, and the first one is formal collusive, which is they openly agreed on. They are openly agreed on a price, and this cartel, which is most of the time illegal, and they have secretly meetings to agree on a price, on a market price. And then there's tacit, which is they don't talk at all, but they still somehow I can't say that word. Collaborate.
Collusive. Collaborative, yeah.
With each other, but even though they don't talk, but they still work, kind of working together. That's the difference, because in non-collusive, they don't talk to each other, but they can set the prices by looking at. You can take the game theory as an example, which is if the other firms lower their prices, we will lower it too, which will make it inelastic because they have identical products, so the customers will then continue to go to buy the products.
That's great. That's great. Okay, the next part of the question, thank you. Evaluate the view that governments should maintain strong policies to control collusive behaviour by oligopolies. What are the advantages?
Okay, the advantage is that the government can penalize for anti-competitive behavior, and they can make sure that the firm is removing the barriers to entry, so that the other people have the chance to enter the market, and that they keep the prices lower.
Yes, some disadvantages could be reduced competition in the market, because the prices are set by the government, and they just have to accept that. So they won't be fighting for consumers. Less firms are willing to enter the market just because of this, because the firms are not making that much of an abnormal profit, and that will attract less firms into the market. It will cost tax money to control the firms, and and barriers are created by the firms. I don't really know what you meant by that.
Just the firms are going to exploit their advantage without government regulation.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Say your name.
So me? No.
Okay, you going?
Winners in this situation would be consumers, because the firms
cannot go together, collude, and control the prices. So in the end, prices will be lower than what the firms would prefer. And the government, because the consumers will have more ability, more money to spend, so they will get tax income from consumption taxes.
And the losers would be the firms, because they will make less money. If the government steps in and wants to regulate the prices, they will push down the prices, so the firms will get a lower income. However, this might backlash on the government as well, because they'll get less tax money from the company tax.
In the short term, these firms will have to follow these new laws controlling the collusiveness of the companies, and they would have to be enforced by someone from the government. The firms could also be fined from not following these new laws.
Hello, my name is Fabian. In the long term, the government is likely to reinstate new institutions that will try to control tacit collusion, because that is much harder to face than formal collusion. And it's likely that the firms will engage in tacit collusion in the long run, just because it is harder to trace for the government, and it might make them gain higher revenue. Also, if there's a price war in the short run, some firms might not survive that price war in the long run, because their revenue has decreased so much, and this might make them firms in the oligopoly that might make firms in the some firms in the oligopoly to leave the market, which makes the monopoly more similar to a oligopoly, more similar to a monopoly.
Martin?
Yeah, you go first. Government should control collusive oligopolies, since they lead to decreased consumer surplus and allocating efficiency, because the oligopolistic companies would push up prices and lower quantity, and it would also decrease competition if they allowed collusive oligopolies, which would also decrease consumer surplus. And with control of it, the wealth would be more dispersed instead of just being concentrated in the hands of a few oligopolists. And the wealth would be more wisely used, I guess.
It could also be advantages for governments not to control oligopolies, and could be advantage because the market becomes a monopoly if they're able to collude with each other, and monopolies sometimes have larger economies of scale than if they were smaller businesses in each other, and that and it's also more productively efficient if they're a monopoly. And also another argument for it is that the businesses will make a larger profit if they can collude and put up the prices, because this will be good, because then they will want to produce more of their good, and if this product is beneficial for society, like a merit good, then that's good. More is produced of that. Det kan vara sista för
Yeah. Another disadvantage with controlling is that the government has to spend tax money to enforce the control. A different move that might be more profitable for the government could be to tax profits, which would hit collusive oligopolists indirectly, and it could also hit against tacit collusion, which is always kind of hard to hit.
Okay, well done.